about Bilam, the prophet of the nations, in terms of, to a certain degree, he had a semblance of Moshe Rabbeinu's prophecy. He's known as the prophet of the nations. The question is, a man who lived his life in the most decadent, in the most pompous, arrogant way, how could he be the receptacle for the Shekhinah, for the divine presence to come upon him? That's firstly. Secondly, which is the greatest difficulty, if he had a sense of God with such level of clarity, how could he behave this way? The Gemara tells us in Sanhedrin that when Odom Harishon ate of the Eitz Hadas min hoyo, at that moment he did not believe in God. He couldn't believe in God because he had such a level of clarity of God's presence and the prohibition and understanding all the consequences of the eating of the Eitz Hadas, the tree of knowledge. At that moment, he had to totally suppress that reality that God exists. Because if he would have had any sense of God's existence, he couldn't have eaten of the tree of knowledge. So min hoyo, he actually had to suppress it. It's the equivalent, he was a heretic at that moment, as if he didn't believe in God. Bilam, who continuously had some level of relationship, a sense of God, at such a special level, how does he commit bestiality? How does he perpetrate such human crimes as instituting, suggesting the bondage, the shibud, the Golus Mitzrayim was due to his suggestion? How does he do such a thing? So there's a beautiful word from Rav Chaim Volozhino. It's cited in the introduction to the Geras HaGro. He explains, of all species that were created by Hashem, the species that has the greatest ability to see for literally miles is the eagle. As you say, somebody's eagle-eyed. That because when it flies, Hashem created its eye that when the light of the sun refracts off the topography of the ground, it's able to see miles, hundreds of miles into the distance. That's the vision of an eagle. But on the other hand, a bat is blind. A bat cannot see light. But yet, Hashem created the bat with a sensitivity that the moment it senses light, it immediately escapes to the recesses of the darkest areas, that it should not be exposed to any level of light. Now the bat, in terms of its sensitivity to light, there's no creature that has that level of sensitivity. But in terms of knowing what light is, the bat doesn't know what light is, because the bat can't see. So he explains, Moshe Rabbeinu lokom novi lisho k'Moshe. Moshe was neman b'chol beiso. Moshe was negated to God because Moshe was his paklai remilo. He saw through a clear lens. He visually, with his neshama, with every aspect of his being, he understood what God was. And therefore he was totally negated to Hashem. And therefore Moshe is honored to be called Adam. There's no more humble person than Moshe Rabbeinu. On the other, Bilam, he doesn't know what God is. He never saw God. He never had a sense of the reality of that light, of what Kedusha is. But he had a sense of his presence. As the bat has a sense of light, although the bat doesn't know what light is. Therefore, as a result of that, it's not contradictory. He's able to live a life of bestiality, of decadence, of perversion, of evil and cruelty. It's not contradictory. But to have a sense when to curse or when to bless, he knows that's the opportune moment. Because he has a sense that's the moment that God is present. But who is God? What is God? He has no idea what that is. Therefore, Bilam could behave and does behave as that evil being. On the other, Moshe Rabbeinu had the clarity. He's the most faithful human being who ever lived.